What's happening, guys? Martinez back again, um, touching base with you now. So this is slightly more of a bit of a serious type of video. As I say, my videos aren't going to be necessarily just fragrance reviews, but I'm just going to talk about obviously things that come to my attention as and when they come to my attention. So as we see now, again, because I'm based in the UK, the coronavirus is something which obviously is getting a lot more media attention. Some people or some particular parts of the world seem to want to downplay it. Others are referring to it as a pandemic. So it's something that, effectively it's on a global scale now. We can see it's moved. From the information we're seeing, it doesn't quite seem to be quite fully defined as to what they're saying in the UK anyway is at least to try and wash your hands, try to avoid, obviously if you're going to sneeze, don't just leave, sneezing, don't wash your hands. Obviously if you're sneezing and you're touching somebody else, obviously just be aware of that. Now, I'm not necessarily any medical individual to fully understand it, but my question will be, and from what I'm seeing as well, people in the UK are being quarantined for up to 2 weeks. Now, from my understanding of it in respect of some of the laws and everything else like that, especially in respect of employment law, it seems to be that if you're sent home for that period of time, it could be classed as sick leave, and that could be up for 2 weeks. Now, we're waiting to see, obviously, as information comes in, but my question would be really now, is this particularly, obviously, the infrastructure in the UK, I can only talk about, I can't talk about anywhere else in the world as such because I don't live there, so I don't know. But the UK are basically saying that they've got procedures in place, things are coming out on a daily basis. So what's going to happen? But I really have to ask the question, will poor individuals, working class individuals, be affected more by this than those maybe in a, how could I say, maybe in a more affluent background, not necessarily taking that shots at any particular class, upper class, middle class, working class. I'm not necessarily going after that. But one thing I have to question as well, we see, just looking at the information I can see, in China, obviously there was a big sellout of just face masks. People were focusing on buying multiple packs of these face masks to the point that it was becoming extortionate to buy a face mask. And we see these pictures on the internet and Instagram of people wearing stupid things. You'd think some people are wearing nappies, some people are wearing even underwear around their face just to have something. So I don't know if they're genuine things or this is just more of a spoof or a joke in that respect. But I'm noticing more so what we can see happening is if you're from a situation or a background in which you may not necessarily be particularly affluent, you may not be able to really cover yourself for a month. For example, there are some people in the UK that cannot cover themselves for even a month without anything in their pockets in respect of any money coming in. So paycheck to paycheck sort of scenario. And I'm not talking about someone who's middle class, whatever it may be. I'm talking about someone who's in the, the bottom rung in respect of, the lower earnings limit to some extent. My question is going to be if they're out of work for 2 months, or 2 weeks, and they're told to be off work for 2 weeks because potentially they're supposed to go on quarantine, for example, they're only receiving SSP, statutory sick pay in the UK. That's a very low amount. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Is the government going to bring in something to try and assist people who are only earning a certain amount in this sort of scenario? It's really not clear what's going on behind the scenes. Obviously, it's on a day-to-day sort of scenario that we're getting information is actually hitting the north of England now compared to being in obviously other parts of Europe, and a number of cases are being confirmed every day. We have to see what happens, guys. But my question will be is one thing I'm noticing more so now, if you're going to be in quarantine for 2 weeks, are you not going to start stockpiling some of the, your food and your resources like that? I'm seeing a few things on the internet, a few things on the news where people are buying up extra supplies, and equally obviously in the UK with flooding going on as well. I don't know what the impact's going to be. There's a lot going on at the same time. I don't know what the answer is going to be with this stuff, guys. We just have to keep an eye on it, but I have to put out the message and ask that question. Is it going to be a bit of a scenario where there could be some sort of civil unrest in respect to this? Because people are going to be affected. If you can't go to work anymore because you've been told that you're going to be in quarantine, you're put in a situation that you could struggle to obviously cover your bills because you're only getting paid, I believe it's £95 a week on SSP. It's not really going to do, and that's if you earn, if you earn the lower earnings limit anyway of £118. So if that is the case, SSP is only £94.25 in the UK. So if you're going to be relying just on that, you may not have any savings or anything else like that, and you've got children to feed and everything else. What's going to happen? What's going to happen if you're told that you can't go into work? What's going to happen? Equally, what's going to happen if the government say for instance, a lot of these schools have been shut down? What happens there? Schools have been shut down. Children aren't going to school. That's one thing. But equally, if you're a parent, you have to take time off work to look after your children. What happens then? Some companies have provisions where they can offer a little bit more as a benefit, as a fringe benefit for working for that company. But if you're not in that particular company and you work, say for instance, at McDonald's, and you tell McDonald's that I have to go and look after my children now for a week, what's going to happen to your employment? How are they going to treat that? You're entitled in the UK to reasonable time off for dependents, but what's going to happen then? What's going to happen then? If you're going to be off for even a bit longer to say the child is not well, what's going to happen then? So I don't know what's going on. I hope there are some provisions in place for, what we're seeing coming out from the news. It's coming out on a daily basis, but my real concern is, is there going to be some civil unrest because of this? Is there going to be a fallout in respect of, as I say, those that are literally working class, effectively lower class, and I don't even want to use that term, but effectively, is there going to be some fallout because of this? We just don't know what's going on really with this thing right now, and hopefully the UK government have put some things in place to try and see what they can do to try and, obviously curb any sort of, quote unquote epidemic going on or pandemic going on. But we need to see it's on a global scale. And the issue is that the information is coming out is that you could be a carrier of this particular coronavirus and not necessarily have any symptoms, and you could be passing on to people. So they're still understanding. I'm understanding that they're still trying to get the science down, but I just feel like something tells me we're going to see some divisions going to go on at some point. And again, the reason why I mentioned this is because obviously my channel originally when it started off was talking about Zara fragrances because it was cheaper. Nothing completely to do with this, but at the same time, in that sphere and with that mindset, I can just see the fallout coming in some way, shape or form. I hope the UK government are able to put a curb on it straight away. There are some isolated incidents so far, but we have to wait and see what happens. But I think more people are affected by it than we realize. It's just obviously what information the media is actually allowed to come out there. But anyway, that's just a question I want to put out there. It's nothing to do with anything else I've done on this channel. It might be a little bit hard for some people. If this isn't for you, by all means ignore it. But again, I'm talking about what I see going on the ground on a day-to-day basis with some of these things. And again, this is information that's coming into me as well. So I just want to ask that question. Do you feel like the coronavirus will maybe have an effect economically to some extent on the poorer classes in the UK? And I can only speak in the UK. I can't speak in other parts of the world because I don't really live anywhere else, so I don't know. But who knows, we'll see. I think it's having an impact on the global markets anyway, so I think we can see some fallout maybe might happen again. Stock exchanges are just going all over the show. So this is going to impact us all in some way, shape or form, whether we're involved in it or not. But I just want to ask that question. You guys let me know your thoughts. I'll see you soon on the next video. Ciao.